Welcome to Jane Ain't Done Yet.
Hi, Adele. Welcome. You want to talk about being good enough. Can we tell the backstory first about how I didn't get it? No,
Okay. I'll briefly say this. Okay. Right. Topic today is about good enough and the value in that. And a little side note, there's two side notes. One is we already recorded an episode on that, but it didn't go well because I assumed Vicki knew what I meant, and therefore we would just hop right in. So again, communication often goes bad because we think the other person is on the same thought wave as we are. And then so we re-recorded it, and then it became like a therapy session. So this is our third try, and we do see the irony in that because
wasn't good enough.
good enough is really a double-sided thing. It's a antidote to perfectionism and a way to appreciating what you have, and also taking shortcuts and valuing output and creativity more than getting everything right. It can also be trouble. That'll be our next episode, though.
Okay.
All right. So, Vicki,
yes,
let's talk about good enough as being an awesome thing. So, what the hell? Like, now that you're more on board with me because we've talked about it, tell me what good enough brings to the table for you or can for other people.
I don't know what my objection to it was other than, well, doesn't everybody just deal with being good enough? You just deal with how you are and you try to be better. That's what I thought about. I wasn't understanding your message.
Well, see, that's interesting too, right? Because we come at things from our own perspective. I'm coming at good enough as like a major liberator because I was really, really encumbered by perfectionism.
Okay.
And I don't think that is true for you. Not to say that you don't have standards. And I want to delineate that, right? Perfectionism isn't about excellence and doing things in great ways or having ambitions. It's about kind of all of that on steroids.
Yes, I'm thinking about myself and you and perfectionism. And I thought sometimes that I could be a perfectionist, but really I'm not. When I think about the amount of energy you put into fabric selection and the proper color and how it will match, and it's beautiful, but I don't have that kind of patience.
And so what I want to say is, I
don't care.
There's a lot in what you just said. And why are we even talking about this? Because I think if people can embrace good enough, the awesome part of it, they can get to the things they want to do in life that matter, right?
Love this.
You not being encumbered by perfectionism, just feel freer to be like, yeah, sure, I'll go with that. Yeah, okay. You're not as invested in a healthy way. So the choices don't bog you down and you make a decision and then move on. Now, there is a little bit of murkiness because I really enjoy picking fabrics. But it's that thing where if you run that extra mile and it was actually more than you should have and your ankle now hurts. It could be I'm like deliberating over a fabric choice and going to see another because it's this space of worried about not getting it right. And it becomes a waste of time and energy and it depletes. I feel like what we always come back to in our talks is about the discernment. So to live with your good enough, and it's a good enough I now can say I've adopted. But I would call myself a recovering perfectionist because it's a little like alcoholism in the sense when you have a hard and fast way of being for so long and you leave it to the side, it can rear up again. It can, especially in times where things are feeling a little more out of control or you're worried about something that might, it's your tendency where you go if you are a former perfectionist, recovering perfectionist. So good enough for me now means everything doesn't have to be done at the same standard of excellence. I pick and choose what I'm going to do extremely well. I'm okay with mess in some parts of my life. or mess on a certain day and then regaining organization another. And like even doing this, right? Even doing YouTube series is really okay with good enough, even though I know this is our third take on good enough. The fact that I'm just putting something out on the internet and it's, I'm rambling, don't have makeup on, blah, 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 blah. I've given up because I want to give this to the world. I have things I want to say. And that takes precedence over perfection of producing something perfect, which is not possible anyway.
What caused your shift
I don't know. Oh, into like the
from
realm of,
from Miss Perfect to Miss
yeah.
Good Enough?
Okay. It was when life got busier as a mom. When my life was smaller, I could work pretty well in maintaining everything to be at a certain level. With children, I found that impossible. And then I am divorced. And, when my husband, the father of my children, ultimately asked for that, it threw my life into great upheaval. And upheaval can do that, right? It's like an earthquake, the shifting of our footing, right? It recreates a whole new terrain. And rather than falling in the crevice, I was okay. I am a survivor in the best sense, right? So I just reached out for help and professional help from a therapist. But here I needed the support of my friends and my family. And in that vulnerability, I'm being myself, like totally my raw self. Like it was some of the hardest times of my life. And then you start to see, wow, people really like you just for who you are.
Oh, nice.
There's no need for some portrayal of perfectionism. And it was, worst of times, but also some of the best times because of the intimacy with the friends and with me and my daughters and their dog, the dinners and just the camaraderie that vulnerability creates, which comes from saying, hey, I'm good enough as it is. And then also when things really fall apart, you're hit pretty hard that you don't have control. And that's what perfectionism is at its heart, is trying to keep control. And when you're shown you're not in control, you're just, okay, I'm not going to expend all this effort in trying to make everything right in my life, when in the end it can kind of just be shaken up anyway.
So experiences, but also, do you think maturity, just being in the place where you are at this age in your life, helped form that as well?
Totally. Like it's right as a trajectory.
Yeah.
But I do have to say, I am really thankful for a penchant for learning, like
Yes.
I'm always curious, what can I learn from this? But it's what I do. And that's been immensely helpful as opposed to falling down, which I did, but falling down and staying down and feeling victimized, though I did a bit.
But you came out of that like the Phoenix.
And and yeah, so maturation is a great thing if we're willing to let life be our teacher. I had something else to say, but oh well.
It's probably brilliant too.
Oh yeah.
Always. It was it was perfect.
It was perfect.
Yeah, once you explained to me, then it made more sense. And sometimes Adele and I do this. We go over things, or I say, okay, you can talk about that. I'll play along. And she does the same with me. But you wrote our newsletter on it, and it was so well explained and well written. And then I got it. It's just accepting who you are and where you are in that time and place. And for me, it felt like being really content with where I am right now in my life. I don't want to use the word happy because it's so overused.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say, it's like embracing what is here.
Okay.
And that can be with the small things like, okay, I made my bed, but yeah, there's a wrinkle. I mean, you can see where I really was on the perfectionism.
Wow. Never. Not even.
It's actually like, I'm like feeling a little embarrassed, like, oh boy, I'm going to be judged. But yeah, so, like it was magazine ready kind of house, and now it's like, okay, on to the next, like having a perfectly made bed. Oh, I love it. The fresh sheets. Oh, the best.
Yeah, sure.
But there's too many other things I want to do
Right.
that are
Yeah.
way more important. And I remember seeing a magnet on a friend's refrigerator, and it had a picture of a 1950s housewife, and it said something like, a super clean house is a sign of a life not lived or something. And it was before we started Jane Ain't Done Yet, because it really reverberated for me. Like, I do have a super clean house, but I don't want it to be in sacrifice of things that I want to do out in the world. So good enough is the door opener to bigger things. And I don't even want to say bigger like grandiose, but bigger just meaning that they matter more to your heart.
Give me an example.
The popcorn pot is upstairs uncleaned, but I went to write this morning to finish that newsletter. Hopped on this call with you. It's my creative self that is big to me, to nurture it. And it brings me far more joy than the other things that I used to kind of.
Do you go behind people and straighten things?
No, I do.
No, I don't remember. I have stayed at your house more than once, but
I do try to curtail that because I know it's annoying. So again, self-awareness and discernment are like over and over and over again our top gifts. And they can really lead you into this embrace of good enough, because you can know if you're kind of going overboard on that and not embracing good enough. Like plenty of times there's shortcuts. Not everything has to be done at a high level. Like I think of a friend of mine, and he keeps an expense account of all his spending, but it's done in such a detailed manner and takes a fair amount of weekly time that the level of which he does it, he'd be ready for a forensic accountant to walk in the door anytime from the IRS. And that's great, but I don't know, it's like at the end of your life, sometimes these are the questions I ask myself. Do I want my epitaph to say she made a great spreadsheet? Like,
well, I want that
I
as one of
don't
my
like, if
bullet
that's
points.
someone's goal, I don't want to belittle it. But another way to look at it is like, in terms of good enough, is what are you spending too much time on, and how can you embrace a shortcut, or how can you say yes or no to it? Like maybe you just say no to it. Like good enough is sometimes just saying no, or being late. Sometimes I run late. I know that's a bad habit, but to the things where it doesn't matter if I'm late, but I'm feeling a little like this if I'm late, I'm like, you know what? It's good enough. You're showing up. Anything else?
For me, I just go, it is good enough.
Yeah, see, and that's so wonderful. That I love that that's your reflex. My body had to learn that.
I could do a better job. I feel like I could do a better job. Clean the pot a little bit
next
better.
week. We're going to talk about when good enough can get you into trouble.
Because, I'm like,
there is a flip side. Like everything, there's an underbelly. And it's a little like a meeting point, right? Like I'm the perfectionist. I'm coming down and meeting it, right? And then it might be the person who's like here that needs to step it up, right?
So I wouldn't clean the pot well enough, and then be like, it's fine.
Yeah, but a little bit of priorities, right? And so that's what good enough is, in a way, making not everything a priority, but yeah, it's a choosing, right?
Right.
So that's good enough, because that good enough allows me to do that.
Right. That's what I was going to say. For me to do other things that I would really rather be doing, like finishing the book I was reading.
Yes. Yeah. So good enough, it releases you into other things. And saying you're good enough is allowing you to show up in relationships and professionally and do things that feel a little vulnerable. Good enough also frees you from ruminating and going over, but what if it was, or maybe I should, or should I have it redone? Because really, it's a dance every day. And if we're stuck on getting everything all right all the time, can't be done, and it's exhausting, and it'll just bury you and your dreams.
So my final and closing thing is I went to dinner last night with two friends, and one of them said, we need to make sure the table is a good table. And I was like, what? She said, she's looking, we need to make sure we're at a good table. And I said, it's just a table. It was like
good enough,
sweetheart.
We're in a nice restaurant in a nice city. We're together,
right?
Yeah. So I feel like good enough just as permission to enjoy.
I love that.
Yeah.
Mic drop.
Mic drop. I wish, but anyway.
Well,
Okay.
let me pull my no.
All right.
Okay. Next time we'll talk about
The dark side of good enough.
dun dun dun. The dark side. Ever since we upgraded, I can't do anything. I don't know what's happening. Like an idiot. Okay, so here we go. Gallery. There.
Okay.
All right. Whew.
Oof.